colleagues, dear friends. Welcome to the LGMA 2025 webinar series. This time we have branded as COP30 Curtain Raiser Edition. We are just as usual, our practice, we are allowing our attendees to settle in time so that we can all have a decent flow of our session. Usually, our webinars were towards the end, like the third week, and it was Wednesdays. You may have noticed the time has changed. It may be possible that some of our participants, attendees, may not have noticed this in their calendars. Sorry for if any confusion came up on that. But this had to be adjusted because of the ongoing preparations for the COP30. So we appreciate your patience on that, and obviously you will receive this the links in any case after the webinars. Um, and in that regard, we I also think that those who are familiar, we've gone through the background and then focus on latest updates. So we will make the background introduction as short as possible because most of the colleagues we know are familiar with the process. We don't need those. We want to dig into the agenda because it's very heavily loaded. A lot of updates are coming. And as you are also aware, the last couple of days and after even from this webinar onward, we're expecting more updates to come. So, but as a collective, this is our moment. We will also discuss in the end of the webinar what will be the next steps about deadlines and our mobilization in Rio and in Belém as well. So I think I was able to use this couple of seconds for this buffer. So well, let's now kick off officially our session. My name is Yunus Erik, and I'm the Director of Global Advocacy at ICLE Local Governments for Sustainability. And I'm leading and facilitating this webinar in my capacity as the UNFCCC LGMA focal point, the Local Governments and Municipal Authorities constituency. So welcome to our webinars. This is recorded. You can type in your Q&A box or chat box. At the end, we will always give time for updates from other partners or any clarification questions. Today, in that round, I'm expecting some of our LGMA partners to join. So we will bring them to the screen as appropriate. I'm expecting also our colleague Leah to join possibly in the morning session. And we will see my colleagues Ariel and or Matteo will also intervene, especially in our coordination for the on-site in Belém or remotely as well. So we will focus today a bit the latest information on the NDC synthesis report. There were some interesting figures and information there. Pre-COP, it was an important agenda for us. Would like to touch upon that a bit. The national mobilization piece, pretty interesting experiences we have observed across the world. And joint position endorsement, we have a lot of good updates. And then COP30 in Brazil, Rio Leaders Summit in Belém, and COP30 in Belém. That is our the coverage of today's. Let's go forward as quick as possible. These are the things that we are aware of all together. One thing I want to remind us here, our next webinar is of course after COP, but our bulletins, the daily bulletins will start to be released starting from 9th of November, which is Sunday. So I encourage you to make sure you are subscribed to our bulletins. This is our easiest way. This will hopefully be released daily, and my colleague Matteo and Ariel will touch upon this later on. But there will be no webinar until December. December, or do we have November? No, I don't think. Just a second. Yes, December. Good. Our website, COP30 LGMA COP30 website, is now up and running. You can see here we have intervention section, we have the position, and we have the cities and regions hub. And if you go to the website, you go down, you can scroll also the previous agendas of the year, throughout the year, how we were engaged. Um, uh, these are background information. We are getting close to I mean, this is really the year-round engagement we had. A big kudos to all partners who have been involved. I think the point I want to make here is that obviously the remarkable change of pace was June, as soon as the action agenda of the presidency was announced, which was much more visible for multi-level and urban. Our mobilization became much more stronger and focused. I think that's what I can observe in this 12 months of what we have done so far. This was really good for us, and it was also good that the way we have engaged ourselves, that we have released a vision in the first 6 months, developed a vision local to global COP30 and beyond. We have announced this in Bonn. We were at a very diverse and high level activity engagement in the mid-year talks in Bonn, also with the daring cities and other opportunities. And starting from then onwards, we have accelerated. During the year, we also had a lot of preparations for town hall COPs, and that also exceeded the expectations, even that what we have been starting. Let's remember, this made us that we focus on our before Belém, in Belém, and beyond Belém. And here, I would like to spend a time in the sense that when we announced our 100 days to Belém, I can comfortably say that all the outcomes of these events, and even those who are not listed here by mistake, which is like Urban 20, have produced very, very strong inputs to the whole process. I think that gives us the confidence that the strategic planning of all our engagement across the world in all continents has given us the confidence that we are now much more stronger. We are much more clear on where we are going, and here is now the results that our work is paying off. Of course, this is a screenshot from the NDC synthesis report. When I say, of course, in the sense that from our side, I think we as subnationals, LGMA, local and regional governments, we have done our homework. I will come back to this in that text. However, we cannot say the same thing across the collective responsibility of the national governments. Unfortunately, even UN Secretary General, UN Climate Secretariat are very have vocally expressed their disappointment and frustration that the number of NDCs submitted by 30th of September, both the number is very weak and the ambitions are really, really weak. This is of course not a nice thing. I mean, we're all aware, as of today, as of moment, we are discussing or we are seeing 300 kilometers per hour hurricanes hitting Jamaica and all the Caribbean, and the commitment of the national governments, unfortunately not enough. So that's the bad news, let's say. However, like everything in the world, like everything in life, it's never 100% black or white. We have a lot of gray areas. So there are good news of the indices as well. If you look at these two charts, again, these are the extracts from the UNFCCC report. Um, First of all, the new NDCs or the latest NDCs are much more speaking to the vision of a Paris Agreement, whole of government and whole of society approach, which means they're stronger in their depth of their analysis and contributions, and they're much more stronger in terms of their implementation vision. Yes, ambition is much less collectively. There are some who are better than others in terms of national ambitions, but most of them are below the expectations. However, if these are delivered, it is give or the chance that these documents are much more closer to the real life. It's the good news. If you see here, the topics that they have covered is everything under the sky. That also is related to the discussion we are having about the future of climate and sustainability regime in the midst of a UN reform package, the mission of SDGs, the mission of the Rio Conventions, how climate and they will interact, the triple crisis, the nature, plastics, or waste. These are all now coming together. And in that sense, NDCs are becoming really the most encompassing, both publicly engaged documents, but also the ones that are much more closely monitored and followed. So these are the good news. and our best news. I can comfortably say that these are the words, these are the text, not from any LGMA position, not from any champ country. These are the official analysis of the UNFCCC Secretariat, which says that subnational entities are increasingly involved as partners. That is one of the highlights of the one of the first paragraphs. One of paragraph 78 is devoted completely to our subnational engagement. That the and this it has to be also noted that this is an analysis by for the NDCs by 30th of September. There had been some new NDCs coming up. Most of them are even also better. So there are limits. This percentages don't get too much stuck on that. But the important is that there is a very clear tendency that the national governments are bringing multi-level collaboration much more into their process, thanks to our achievements over these years, thanks to our unwavering commitment that they have heard us and they have understood the value of collaborating with us. They have also brought deurbanization into the context much more stronger. We will hear later on from our colleagues. This was from our colleagues from UN Habitat, both here and also in Belém, especially the analysis they are preparing at the moment. This was where we were. A lot of countries had cluster A, cluster B, class C classification. Cluster A, 50 countries were strong. Cluster B, around 70, which were moderate, and the rest was really very poor. So if we look at this is our own analysis. This is not the UNFCCC analysis. You may have noticed that we refer to 67 NDCs. For example, UNFCCC has addressed China and European Union in their analysis. In our analysis, these are not available because the documents were not in the UNFCCC website, but we have included others. So this is really a bird's eye view, and this is not aiming to replace the UN Habitat analysis upcoming, but it's until 11th November. That's one of the most valid ones. So the good news is that a significant number of champ countries have also done their homework. More than half of the current NDCs available on the UNFCCC website is coming from champ countries. But non-champ countries are also, especially from cluster A and B, which means countries who have strong or medium urban component have also been very actively submitting their NDCs. So they also have done their homework. So the countries who have stronger urban components have been the ones who have made their homework. That could be a conclusion we can come up with. The second interesting point is that from those existing NDCs, new ones, the ones who were previously in the cluster C, which had no or very weak component of urbanization or multi-level, almost all of them have migrated to cluster B. That's also even better news. This means we are getting closer to that. It is becoming a mainstream, and it's becoming the ones who are taking the active role, the ones who are committed to Delaware Paris Agreement are the ones who are working with multi-level collaboration and recognizing urbanization as an important tool. I think this is the most important message we should all communicate. Uh, Pre-COP in Brasilia, it was a remarkable. I have attended the pre-COPs. I think that was started over the last 10 years or so with Petersburg Climate Dialogues. These are the preparatory meeting at the ministerial level throughout the year. It was in Copenhagen, in Berlin, and usually 1 month before the host country. These are because ministerial level access of observers or stakeholders were very limited. Over the past years, especially Glasgow onwards, the opportunities were increasing. We were invited to attend, to watch, intervene, interact. But this pre-COP was the best in terms of inclusivity, in terms of openness, in terms of transparency and bringing all on board. Of course, there were moments where ministers were alone in the room, that they were interacting, but we had a half an hour direct plenary intervention from all constituencies, which LGMA intervention was delivered by ABM as well. There were interactions in the side events. And here's the family photo. It's the first time a family photo is together with all the stakeholders as well. And you can see powerful LGMA delegation here, Ula, Daniela, Gabriela, ABM, FMDV, GCOM, Corradi from ICLE. They were all there. But this is only one part of the story, which is the official one. Here, for us, LGMA, the most important one is that for the first time ever, a national government had convened other parties to discuss how can we improve urbanization and multi-level governance in the UNFCCC process. That has happened for the first time. Congratulations to COP30 presidency who included this for such a vision, who allowed or enabled us to do that. And second contribution goes to Ministry of Cities of Brazil, because they were the ones who hosted this event. They were the ones who invited all the delegations. And this was another example of Minister of Cities is not the main actor in the climate process, but together with Itamaraty, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, together with Minister of Environment, MMA, and Minister of Cities demonstrated how these all hands on deck spirit can be delivering results. And the meeting was, of course, limited to those who were in Brasilia. Therefore, there were some limitations, but it was, first of all, well received by parties from champ countries and not champ countries. There were a very dynamic dialogues, and we are very happy that there was also active engagement of COP30 Urban Solutions Special Envoy, Philip Young, and Ambassador da Costa. They had led the process. And now the Pandora's box is open. We can now comfortably start to expect that it's not just national NDCs that we want a multi-level collaboration. We want this into the UNFCCC process, not just as a side agenda like action agenda, but in the heart of it. And that's what we will come back to that shortly. Again, this was not easy. This was depending on the national mobilization. There were all our members across the world who were putting effort there. And town hall COPs, it was really a bottom-up process throughout the year. And I'm very happy that collectively we made really a good demonstration that at the time when climate talks were sidelined, it was local communities, local and regional governments who brought the topic back to the debate, public space, again in a positive manner, not as a distractive topic, but in a positive manner. Here, the latest examples. We are only talking about the last month. We had a fantastic Delhi declaration. You can probably you cannot read, but you can find that they endorsed the LGMA position. They are expecting that COP33, where India is planning to host in 2028, will be the first COP where multi-level and urban is fully embedded into the UNFCCC process. So from Belém until India, we are expecting for 3 years or 2 years of a vision, and India is at the moment welcoming this. Minister of Housing is fully on board, and they are talking to Minister of Environment as well. We had a fantastic town hall COP in Adelaide, together with the Department of Environment and Climate Change. Adelaide is important because if COP31 goes to Australia, Adelaide is announced as the host city. So Mayor Jane Lorak-Smith, who was with us in Bonn, had fantastically hosted this town hall COP in Adelaide, and we will see more of those outcomes, one of those good practices and examples. We had a supranational town hall COP. Committee of the Regions traditionally, of course, have these dialogues every year, but this year it was even better. There was the first public announcement that European Union is continuing to endorse CHAMP. There was a discussion on COP31 if Turkey hosts this, because it's in the European and Mediterranean region, that the mayor of Muğla was interacting with the Committee of the Regions, the Covenant of Mayors and the Commission, so that how they can help to support this process. On the similar dates, or just 1 week before, Tokyo continued to discuss Time to Act Forum. It has been their practice in the past couple of years, but for the first time, Minister of Environment was interacting directly with a focus on NDCs. Japan was one of those countries in the champ, and their ambition is really high on multi-level action. So that was another good example. And one of the best examples, I must confess, as usual, another legacy from Salga, that they have every year been very, very consistent on that the Minister of Environment of South Africa again hosted their traditional stakeholder briefing. They had invited all the stakeholders. It was before NDC was announced. That's very important. It was the last consultation. And we were very proud that Salga represented Mayor Pukuladze had delivered a fantastic intervention. It was recognized as one of the best interventions. in that dialogue. It was a result also of our partnership with the FFA, the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment Change, on the South African town hall COPs. So SALGA, National Association, National Minister of Environment, and global partner ICLE have demonstrated that these collaborative efforts can deliver results. South African NDC is also strong, still strong. It could have been better. There's always room for improvement, but we believe the way they have done this is one of the good practices, and that's again now the reason why we are so hopeful that, be it in the champ, outside champ, there are more and more countries coming on board. You have seen this: India, China, South Africa, Japan, and all the others. We have been working with Malaysia and onwards as well. Now, our position, the good stories are going forward. That's really the curtain raiser, is to give the hope that this is a COP that we don't have the luxury not to succeed. And that's why we are so much excited, and of course, so much bringing our efforts throughout the year and across the world. So the good news, we have four language versions of our position, thanks to all partners who have voluntarily helped us to do this. So this position paper is now also supported by a guidance document of around 37 pages. If you look at this, there is consistency. So we have talked about five priority asks, and the guidance document is providing texts that could be used by negotiators. Obviously, there's no guarantee that the text that we are asking will be copy pasted directly, and we will always be more ambitious than what we could achieve. So there will be no room for being disappointed if we do not see that our text in the negotiations. But we are aware parties are reading, parties are benefiting from our contributions, and we are happy that especially groups who have worked on multi-level governance, adaptation, just transition, climate finance, loss and damage. We have also new chapters on food, because food was an important topic this year. An action agenda text is there. We have other documents still in that consultations, but we were not 100% sure. We will check whether we can still back this up with additional text. But as of today, the major topics, we have more in-depth knowledge, and this is available starting from either today onwards or tomorrow onwards for sure, because tomorrow we will have our LGMA bulletin, so that we are ready with our main asks, we are ready with our supporting justifications and different languages, and even now the better news that across the world from all continents we have networks of local energy governments who have committed to support this. You can see partners from America, you can see partners from Asia, Africa, Europe. We even had a partner from Australia, but we are still hoping that they can come back. It was not a network, and that's one of the points I want to raise here. We have received during the endorsement phase a number of partners who are either consultants, who are networks of civil society, or who are individual cities and regions and states. Unfortunately, we had to decline them because we wanted to be consistent with our decision that it will be open for networks. We will communicate to those partners whose name are not listed here to go back to their partners at the national or local or regional level, whether we can still use them as the entry door for their own associations or networks. Let's remember, LGMA is the body which is in the UNFCCC process, the voice of cities and towns through their networks. Individual cities and networks, individual cities and regions cannot be accredited to the UNFCCC. That's why I think this year's strategy was consistent with the mission of LGMA, so that it is the networks who are raising this position. And one of the reasons why we were making a differentiation is that we are all aware there's another document coming from COP30 Local Leaders Forum, which will be signed by individual leaders. Of course, they will still speak on their behalf of the networks, but it will be much more political and it will be more impersonal. Here, it is much more network based, and it is representing much more. I think we don't have to compare, but it really, the mission of the LGMA and the mission of the Local Leaders Forum outcome document is really complement to each other. One is really talking about the nitty-gritty details and the mechanics of how we can make a change. And the other one is much more giving a political impulse and a political message as well. And the good news, both of them are diverse, both of them are rich, and both of them are powerful and recognizing each other. That the local leaders forum recognize the LGMA, and the LGMA position also says that this will be followed by the local leaders forum outcome document. We are aware we can still bring other partners. So this list of endorsers will be announced tomorrow at the LGMA bulletin, but we will keep the subscription page open until 5th of November, and the final list we will be making the final announcement at our press conference on 10th of November. My colleague Ariel will come back to this later on when we touch the LGMA agenda in Belém. I want to highlight once again, we have the position paper on 5 key asks. In the annex, we have this the chronological and thematical list of all the achievements in the UNFCCC process. And that is also receiving very good feedbacks from the UNFCCC Secretariat. COP30 presidency, Andre Delago is aware of that. Philip Young and Ambassador Da Costa have informed both the presidency negotiators and Andre Delago that they are really eager to see this holistic or diversity of previous decisions being gathered in a one-stop shop so that parties can easily understand that on the ground and on the diplomatic space, cities and regions are much more active, and the mission of Belém is to make this more systematic, make this more holistic and integrated, so that adaptation people who are talking of cities and urbanization is aware what the finance people are talking, and the others are also aware of what urban mitigation people are talking as well. That exactly is our goal. We believe we will achieve a foundational text in the final document. That's our goal. We cannot expect to be truly announcing the vision we have, which is a systematic work program. But we know we are waiting for the results of IPCC. It is in the making. There are process going on. If we can make the previous achievements one-stop shop visible inside the UNFCCC or presidency, if we can make a foundational language in any of the paragraphs in the negotiation documents, then we can build the journey towards COP27 COP32 in 2027 to Africa. And you heard India wants to be the one who will be welcoming COP28, the first ever COP28, which benefits from the outcome from Belém, so that it is the most institutional, fully fledged climate conference where multi-level and urban is fully in the agenda. That's our goal to go forward. So now we are in the Brazil. This is not new. We are talking about the forum, Leaders Summit. Investment Forum is a bit out of our scope, and then we'll go to the COP30 again. There are updates on that. So the Leaders Forum co-chairs are announced. You can see the diversity of leaders from the networks, from the geographical continents. That is important, and that is really exciting. We are assuming that it will be a full, really exciting 3 days in Rio. And the COP30 Local Leaders Forum agenda is almost to be announced. We do not go to details of it, but we are very happy to see a dialogue of the champ will be taking place. A number of initiatives from heat, cooling, to methane, to other topics will be coming on board. And of course, you will hear the Local Leaders Forum outcome document, and other announcements are on the way on these 3 days. Around these dates, there will be a number of events across the city of Rio. We know there will be GEF8, launch of the GEF8 program. There will be discussions on urban transitions mechanism, urban transitions mission, General Assembly. There are 2 events that we'd like to highlight here. It's impossible to track all of them. But first of all, during the Local Leaders Forum on the 4th of November, the official pre-COP launch of the Cities and Regions Hub will be hosted by the Brazilian partners, Minister of Cities, and others who have contributed in the design of this agenda. I will come to the agenda. But those who are not able to go to Belém can also celebrate this collaborative effort in Rio. 4th of November, Tuesday at 2, starting from 4 onwards, we will be there. We know there is a reception of the Bloomberg Awards on at 6 onwards, but we know there will be good complementary to these things. We have another agenda that is more specific for ICLE, together with the Globe and City Climate Action Week leadership. We will have a discussion on how city level initiatives, town hall COPs, and city climate action weeks can strengthen each other, complement each other. This year, it was a fantastic opportunity. You remember, Baku was the first time we tested this, building on the London City Climate Action Week. Malini Mehra has been instrumental in that process. So we will have a debate on 6th of November at the lunchtime after the local leaders forum is over. So those who are staying in Rio, more than welcome. Local Leaders Forum. This is the cover page of the administrative note we just received a couple of hours ago. It will be the leaders of the world. President Lula is inviting. It's his summit. It is not a COP summit as such. Therefore, it doesn't have to follow traditional COP procedures. But the presidency have been encouraged to work with the constituencies. They also have continued to follow their leadership in making it as inclusive as possible. So it's not just leaders. There will be so many other experts. Constituencies will be represented, and there will be subnational delegation as well. I'm not entitled to give the full list because it's beyond my capacity, but I know the subnational voices will be there, and LGMA constituency is also invited to be there on behalf of our constituency collectively, which is similar to the previous presidency events. That's good. It was not easy to secure this, but at the end we got it. Those who can remember, especially in Dubai, when the Leaders Summit was convening, we had our own local climate action forum, but in the Leaders Summit, again, the LGMA was invited in the roundtables, and the Mayor Banako from Kiribati was representing us in one of the roundtables, which was open for 9 constituencies. Again, this is again also a result of continuous effort with the Secretariat, Presidency, and the constituencies. It's never given, it's never easy, it's never smooth, but the good news is that we are always making progress. This we are getting to the final, so that I will invite my colleagues. I'm not sure Leah is on the line, but definitely Ariel will be coming up. So I just want to first say that we have our COP30 tracking sheet of LGMA. Those who are in the LGMA mailing list, they have access to that. There may be some colleagues in this call who may not have access to that. We are a bit restricting because our webinars are public. The reason I'm telling this is just the first screenshot. I just want to make sure that the diversity of events that we are talking about. We have negotiations. Official LGMA interventions are now clear. We will have an opening statement, we will have a closing statement, and we will have a high-level segment statement on the 19th of November when ministerial segment starts. In that line, we want to start the kickoff the LGMA with our partners from Brazil. So the proposal is Governor of Piauí, Rafael Fonteles, could deliver the LGMA intervention in the opening on Monday. We have a fantastic good news. On the Monday, we have our press conference secured. Ariel will touch upon it. We have the high-level segment. We want to deliver it. We want to reserve it to Mayor of Belém in his city. This event is taking place, and we'd like to honor him, and he can deliver this. And the rest, we will see who is available on site. Therefore, please make sure all the partners, your representative be visible in our tracking sheet so that we can immediately recommend you. You can see here a closing plenary of the ministerial, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. For the ministerial, there's a bunch of events. Maybe Leah can come to that. We have our side events in the UNFCCC processes. ICLE has a side event, and others could be. We have several hubs, several pavilions, and we also have action agenda events, which is also announced. I forgot to copy this list here. I can update it in the next webinar. But there is also a lot of events that are taking place in the action agenda, because in the action agenda, Axis 4 is reserved for urban, and there's impressive outcomes. The projects for accelerating solutions are almost finalized, and many of our partners are involved in that. At the COP30 in Belém, we are also experiencing another innovation. We have a neighborhood of Muturao for cities water infrastructure. The title is Aligning with Access 4. So we are very happy that we are joining with the DRI Pavilion, the Water for Climate Pavilion, Buildings and Cooling Pavilion, and Cities and Regions Hub. And you will see there will be a nice urban street that will give you the impression that you're literally in an urban neighborhood as exactly that had expected to be. And thanks to Ministry of Cities of Brazil who made all this possible through their commitment, through their expertise, through their partnership, and through their leadership. So we are proud that the hub is now representing another diversity of global and national partners. And we will have more updates on that. The agenda is more or less clear. There are different color codes, but you can see we have national governments, UN agencies, we have LGMA partners, we have our own briefings there. We will have different announcements. We will make sure that on the day of the hub, on the day of the ministerial, our events, our pavilion is still active, but it will not be that heavy. Official hub opening will be on Tuesday and Wednesday after the official ministerial is over, and on Monday we will only have a reception in the evening with all these neighborhood partners. Similar logic is following throughout the second week, and we commend once again all the partners who are involved in this process, both with their financial contributions, but also by enriching our agendas. There will be colleagues who have also been contributing in the development of the agenda as well. Now, Ariel, if you allow me, let's hear from Leah, and then I give the floor to you on the comms side. Is that okay? Because I think what Leah will provide you also will help you to gather all these inputs. Leah, welcome. Great to see you joining us. I give you the floor immediately. While you're presenting, if you wish, you can share your screen because I assume you have more updates. But if not, you can also use ours. And meanwhile, I can also check the chat box messages as well. Leah, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Yunus. Thanks so much for immediately putting me on the spot. Can I request just Ariel to go first and then I come back? Is that okay? Because then I will share my screen. Thank you.
Eunice, you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. It's okay, Leah. Definitely, we can do that. Ariel, do you want to show any additional screen, or shall we stick to that? I can go through the files as you wish, if you like. So go ahead, however you want to lead us.
Great, great. I will share my screen now. It does say that my internet connection is unstable, so I hope that that you can hear me okay. Okay, so yeah, great to be with you all today in our last webinar before COP30. I hope that everyone is staying strong and well prepared for what is ahead. I think, as Eunice has indicated, we are quite excited to have all of our documents ready, ready to move forward on all of the formal and informal advocacy and communications that goes on, throughout COP and towards the outcomes that we're looking for. So, in that spirit, about communications. I want to share with you kind of the plan that we've got thus far. I know a lot is going to evolve on the ground, and I'm happy to be that we will be greatly supported by my colleague Matteo Bisotto, the entire COP event. So if you are on the ground in Belém, he will be your LGMA comms liaison. So we have several kind of channels that the LGMA offers to all of the constituency throughout COP to bring forward not only your own communications as they relate to developments that are relevant to the constituency, but yeah, really any kind of launches and kind of things that you are bringing forward during COP. We want to be there with you and getting out the word to the channels that we have. So towards that end, we have a few different ways that you all can come in, that we will invite the constituency to participate with the LGMA channel. So first, the LGMA daily mailer. I hope that you are familiar with that. If you've participated with the LGMA in the past, this will be quite familiar to you. A daily newsletter that goes out usually at the beginning of the COP day, capturing what has happened the prior day. So if you are, for instance, following negotiations at COP30, this is first and foremost the thing we are most interested in. And if you are going to be doing analysis of that, even if it's very brief, any kinds of just thought points about where we are, it doesn't have to be a super formal analysis. We're really interested in those. Written is possible. Something else that we started offering last year that I think people really enjoyed and were quite popular content were daily updates, video updates. And Matteo will be doing those again this year. So you are invited to participate in those. We are going to be sending out a comms communications kind of summary of how you can come in on these different things. And that will detail how you can get in touch, but basically it can be as simple as Matteo grabs you at the Cities and Regions Hub and you speak on camera for a few minutes. So again, we're really just trying to get kind of the flavor of what's happening at COP out to those who are not attending, and also keep everyone as informed as possible within the constituency. As I mentioned, other things that can come into the daily mailer are those news, reports or launches, and announcements of partnerships. So these are the types of things we've had in the mailer before. Again, Matteo will send out an email about how you can do that, how you can participate in this, but we really do want to use the LGMA call for content, which hopefully you are all familiar with now, and we'll get those on the website as well. I talked about the videos, and then I'll move on to the statements that we'll be releasing. So first and foremost, on the 10th, will be our press conference, which Eunice spoke about earlier. So we will be having a opening press conference and issuing along with that an opening press release. In the past, we've had this open for quotes from all constituency members. So we are going to do that again this year. We'll be sharing the draft of the document on the 4th. So that's next Tuesday, and it'll be open for your the addition of your quotes on until the 9th, and then we will issue that press release on the 10th. So in the past, I think we've asked for just one quote from each organization. You can choose if that's an elected leader, if you're able to get that, or staff, leadership. That is completely acceptable as well. We do ask that if you're going to provide the quotes, that you do that in a timely manner, and your organization's boilerplate information as well. We'll send out these slides, and you can get the links for last year's press release as a reference. On the press conference, I didn't have time to finish this, apologies, but the slides going out for the afternoon will have the full concept on this. But basically, we are working with Under 2, UN Habitat, the Under 2 Coalition, UN Habitat, and also inviting the Ministry of Cities and a representative from the Local Leaders Forum to be a part of this press conference. So our hope is that we're really showing the broad kind of red thread and how powerful our constituency is across all of these agenda points, across all of these moments at COP, that we're united in our front and united in the message that we're bringing to the negotiations and to the presidency. So that's going to be on the 10th. Mark your calendars if you're going to be in COP, and actually that's going to be webcasted as well. So we will make that available. Another formal moment where you are all invited to participate is for our outcome statement. Quite like the opening statement, we'll be asking for quotes from all of the constituency members. This is usually basically an analysis of, what happened at COP and what the constituencies kind of final opinion is on this. It's written often by the folks who came together to write the position. So it's really a kind of wrapping up, did we achieve what we wanted to, or was COP able to achieve what we have been offering? So that is that opportunity. And the aim for that is one day post-COP. That's sometimes a little bit optimistic. So we'll just see how things go. And right, so there were two other things that I just wanted to point out on the list. Sorry, just one, which is the coordination of negotiations response. So basically, if throughout COP, if we have a moment, and this has happened a couple of times, where there's a clear need for us to intervene once more in either responding to negotiations language, draft language that's been put out, then we will mobilize as much as possible to have a coordinated response with either suggested negotiations text, and oftentimes this is good that if communications teams can come in as well on this. So that's something that would happen ad hoc. We would organize it through the WhatsApp group and also on email. So that's just something to be aware of, that could happen as things rapidly evolve at COP. So that is all that I have. But just to say, there you will see more emails from us. Please do connect us with your comms leads. I think I've gotten quite a number of communications colleagues connected to us throughout the entire year, but always happy to be adding to that list if there are folks who we should be talking to. So thank you very much. Thanks, Eunice. I'll turn it back over to you, or Leah, if you're ready.
Thank you, Ariel. It was really, really giving us the confidence that our voice will be spread around the world because this support is extremely valuable. And this year, particularly, your role is very unique because you will be supporting us from Bonn. But I think, especially for these kind of things, it's even better because you will not be going through the madness of logistical challenges
Exactly,
and
exactly.
sitting on
I'm
the screen.
quite happy to
Exactly.
be sleeping in my own bed. Yes.
I'm sure you will not regret.
Sorry
Okay,
to all
thanks
of
a
our
lot.
colleagues who are traveling, but
Each of us have different missions, and it's a great
exactly.
teamwork.
Yes.
Leah, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Yunus, and apologies. This gave me just enough time to finish my list of local leaders for the different roundtables. I'm happy to share my screen, but I think either I'm not, I'm struggling with Zoom, or I don't have the right authority to do so. So if somebody could give me.
You should be able to. Let me just double check. Maybe it's, oh, well, your internet also seems to be struggling. Eunice, you're on mute.
This is Kata,
Can you
who's helping us both in the whole processes, but also especially part of the fantastic events team, Daring Cities and the Pavilion team. So, Kata, thanks a lot
Thank
once
you.
again for his help. Okay,
Thank
Leah,
you.
I think you're sorted out. Yeah.
Can you see my screen? Yunus, can you just give me
Yes, we can.
a summary? Okay. Apologies, my slides are definitely not winning a beauty prize today, but it's just you know, to showcase all the different elements and what's happening to help get all of us on the same page. So this is the current schedule, as far as I know, for the 11th of November for all the different high-level events. Acknowledging there's lots of moving pieces, also acknowledging that in the boxes that are gray, there's most likely other events taking place, but these are the events that are related to the urban and multi-level agenda. So please allow me to walk you quickly through this. And again, apologies for that formatting. It's really just for the purpose of this group. And I'm happy to, in the slides that are going out, to put a prettier version in there. Just as a reminder, we have different roundtables and events throughout the day. We'll start the day with a high-level roundtable on science and research. Really great. We have multiple ministers already confirmed. We have IPCC vice chair confirmed, some of the lead authors confirmed for this, some mayors, and I'll go into that afterwards. That's how we will kick off the day. Then there is two events happening in parallel that are probably relevant for this constituency here. The roundtable on cities, nature, and climate. That's together with the Ministry of Cities, UN Habitat, and UNEP. Also great, we have some very prominent speakers already confirmed, including the Dutch water envoy, a minister of environment of Jordan, some mayors, some governors, some community leaders. So it's shaping up to be a really interesting roundtable. In parallel to that will be what I'm calling, I think the title is not 100% confirmed yet, but it's a rather new event that has been added to this agenda. It's a multi-level governance event that's going to be taking place in the theater setting, a high-level event where the presidency will launch their pathway to accelerate solutions related to Objective 11. It's an event where we are expecting quite a lot of Brazilian participation, showcasing the climate federalism from their side, but also some other ministers and mayors to come in for this, really highlighting also champ endorsing countries, but also not champ endorsing countries, hopefully with the spirit and the intention on getting them and mobilized to join for this to be taking place also in that morning slot. Then there is also a water event happening in parallel, flagging that I don't have details for this specifically, but we know that it is happening and wanted to put it here because it is relevant for the end of the day. Then in the next time slot, we have a finance roundtable. This is really shaping up to be a phenomenal event. We have a confirmation from multiple ministers, from most likely the GCF, from I mean, of course, UN high-level people. We have private sector. We have MDBs coming to speak there. So it's showcasing that there's so much interest in how to get climate finance into cities. So that's of course a fantastic sign. Then there's a solid waste management event hosted by UNEP. Again, I don't have too many details about this at this stage, but really relevant for this agenda. Then there is the ICPC buildings ministerial taking place. I don't know if there's colleagues from UNEP on the call who would want to share a couple words about this. Then in the afternoon, we have an event related to housing and transformation of informal settlements. And then running in parallel to that, an extreme heat event. For the housing event, same thing. We have multiple ministers already confirmed with delegations from, just on the top of my head, Japan, Cuba, Azerbaijan, definitely confirmed, as well as some mayors and governors. And then what I'm really excited about is, so to say, that last slot, because we will then have the closing plenary, and how the presidency, together with the Minister of Cities and the Minister of Environment, is conceptualizing this, is for this to be, I'm calling it the Big Bang event at the end of the day. So really bringing all of these different events that are happening throughout the day together in this closing plenary. So that means feedback from all these different sessions. We're trying to have one speaker coming from all the different events, including the water event, including the solid waste management event, to come back in this closing plenary. And we are right now thinking if we can, so the event, if you've been to these ministerial meetings in the past, there was lots of interventions from the floor. We are really rethinking and trying to be quite innovative around how we're doing this event, meaning we'll have mini panels for this entire event, meaning an opening, a mini panel that we're trying to conceptualize, so to say, the role of cities and regions to accelerating climate action, almost like as a mini fireside chat, then something on where do we stand 10 years after the Paris Agreement, then a one segment on connecting all these dots together, one segment of bringing together ministers of housing and ministers of environment, so to say, for that horizontal integration, and then one segment on the vertical integration, ministers, governors, mayors, where applicable. So lots of moving pieces, as I guess you can imagine, but we're really trying our best to connect with all of you in making this happen. The next slide, please, asking for crowd intelligence here, because this is, so to say, the current status of the different subnational leaders, governors, and mayors that are expected to speak across the different events. please, I might have missed somebody. I tried to put this together rather quickly for the purpose of this call, in the interest of calling on crowd intelligence. And again, it's definitely not winning a beauty prize. So, and maybe, you know, I even also get the feedback, some of them are not coming, or, you know, haven't, oh no, we haven't heard about that. There might be colleagues here on the call who can help to facilitate the contact. So this is my kind ask to all of you. So I'll start from the end, the closing. Malmo is confirmed for the opening. We're in discussion with California, the governor, to make that happen. Rio, we heard initially the mayor is not coming, but then we heard he might be coming. So if there's anybody who knows, that would be really helpful. We're trying to, of course, also follow up with our channels. Then Para and Belém would love to have there. We heard that Adelaide is coming in the end, so we'd love to make sure that the mayor is getting a speaking slot. Baden-Württemberg, also we are looking to build not a pair, but a quadruplet, I would say, trying to get somebody from the European Commission, national representative from some European countries, including Germany, and then a representative from Baden-Württemberg, so really showcasing that multi-level climate action in action. And then Johannesburg, I don't know, you know, I've also been hearing coming, not coming, so again, helpful if there's any indication on that. Housing, you can see here the current list of speakers. We're not going to go into this. Well, apologies, I missed Paris for the closing. Sorry, that was one of my oversights. Then looking to have for science, Paris, Rio Grande del Sur, Svelopele, and Yucatan. Again, many moving pieces. Nature, Quebec, Tamil Nadu from India, Nouakchott, Mauritania, Kupisha, Bolivia, and then Onka Paringa from Australia. And then for finance, currently Scotland, Hong Kong, Consorcio Verde, and Recife. This is where I'll stop and handing it back to you, Yunus. But again, happy to hear
Fantastic.
feedback, questions, whatsoever.
Fantastic. First of all, Leah, congratulations to you and the whole UN Habitat leadership and the team. It is impressive. One of the things we have always been discussing, having this in the beginning of this COP, is an opportunity and a challenge. Why? This year, the ministerial segment will be in the second week as usual. It's not like the previous years. So it's even a bigger effort to bring all these ministers, especially from the non-urbanization component. So I'm very happy to hear that you are able to make it. And of course, if you are noticed, our colleagues, this is the second day. So we will have 10 more days. Any outcome, especially from the closing, we will now then use it to with the presidency, with the Brazilian Minister of Cities, with the parties, champ and non-champ endorsers, so that then we diffuse into the process while negotiations are going. So 3 minutes left. I see a couple of feedbacks and questions. I will not go into the points of the names. Let's work on it. But my colleagues, especially from LGMA community, please keep your delegation list updated in the tracker, because whenever UN Habitat is asking for us, we can go back to this tracker so that here's the leaders available, here's not. Time-wise, they can be available on that day, but they may be booked for another event. Of course, we're checking the availability in terms of diversity, gender, regional balance, and all this stuff. So try to help us so that we can help UN Habitat to make our voice heard in the best way. And of course, those selections are also not ad hoc. You know that these speakers have something to bring to the table. One of the examples, Svelopele, sorry for my pronunciation, but we particularly wanted them to speak on the science because IPCC was a legacy from South Africa in 2016. And the report of IPCC will be discussed in an African COP32 in 2027. So there's a lot of reason why they are speaking here or the others are speaking the others. So it is a very well curated process. Congratulations, and we are very happy to to continue to develop further. These are not all events. There are several, especially in the access room, workshops, a lot of processes are going on. So please keep our event tracker, LGMA calendar. Keep the LGMA delegation fresh and updated. Meanwhile, I'm very happy Carl has announced that Commonwealth Local Government Forum has endorsed the LGMA position. That's great news. My colleague Kata has just shared the endorsement sheet again. The endorsement sheet will not be publicly visible because we want to stick it, but it is still open, so you can use it. So please keep us informed. And again, hello, is you have asked a lot of questions about delegation. Let's keep it offline and we help to develop further. But you had another important question about the LGMA interventions in the negotiation sessions. So be aware, this is still an ongoing process. Yesterday, the constitutive focal points have met with the presidency and the UNSC secretariat. The full list is not announced yet, but there are minimum 20 mandated events, which means we are very likely to have at least one or two slots, either in person or virtually intervening. So we will get back to this. It will be in the LGMA tracker, if you remember. Leah, I see your hand, and if there is anything we can do that again. Yeah.
Just thank you, Yunus. Just really quickly, one thing I forgot to mention is Brazil, together with Malaysia, is looking to have a declaration coming out of this closing plenary to be endorsed by ministers of housing and ministers of environment. And one of the elements that are most likely going to be there is definitely also encouraging parties to take up the topic of cities and regions as part of their deliberations. So we hope that whoever's signing this is also a fantastic ally to help push that forward in the negotiation rooms. And of course,
Excellent.
process driven by member states, but happy
Yeah.
to answer questions in case there are any over.
Excellent. I know we are over time, but there was one important question from Samantha. Thanks, Samantha, raising this. You were remembering that we were announcing the World Cities Day tomorrow as a moment for advocacy at the national level, because national delegations are starting to leave their capitals from Saturday onwards, because there are meetings also in Belém beforehand. So we still keep this open. Please promote your endorsement to LGMA as wide as possible. Today, Philip Young is working with the presidency to have an interview on the COP30 presidency page, which is also strengthening our message. We leave it free as much as you want, and if you have anything, please share with us that then we can incorporate. Ariel, Matteo can incorporate it into our mailings and updates on the website. We can make this available. So we do not have a fixed guidance on that. This is all options on the table. Introduce all your innovation and creativity. Ariel, since this was a question also for comms, if you want to add any specific guidance, feel free to come up. Ariel, are you still there? Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I don't have any specific guidance, but we would love
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
what you post.
I mean, you're all aware we are all under huge capacity constraints, like all of you, but we really want to offer this like an idea. Keep us as diverse as possible, but as long as you inform us, we will be helpful. Don't wait for a guidance from our side. This is your choice, this is your style, but let us know what you have done, and then we can spread the news globally. Good. Leah has jumped off. That's great. She just lifted, so no questions she can see from now on, but we will come back. Hello, especially if you want to send your information by email to me and Leah and keep your delegation track updated. CMR is saying that they have their virtual event on the 19th of October, November, the European Town Hall COP Part 2, let's say, following the COP30 regions. We will use this, of course, in our communication channels. Anything else? Did we miss anything?
No, I think it was
I
all
think we've
covered.
answered exactly all of them. Subscription to LGMA bulletin is presented in the chat box and Q&A box. That's great. I think this was good for us for this round. Thanks for all your patience, not just for this webinar, but the whole year. Without you, without your commitment, without your passion, we wouldn't be at this level. And we are so proud that we are really responding to the calls of our communities that climate action should be more ambitious, and it can be more ambitious if it brings all levels of government on board and it connects to our urban world. And I think this will be the powerful message coming across all COPs agenda before and after Belém. So Let's work for it. It's not given, it's not finished yet. There are challenges in the negotiations. Brazilian presidency is under huge stress, negotiations, but also logistical challenges, which unfortunately is impacting all of us financially, personally, physically. But whatever it costs, Belem should deliver a good result. Let's go, and those who are not on in Belem, even better that you can help us online. Let's stay in touch. Thank you very much.